James O'Connor's call for police to be stationed along the border between the Republic and Northern Ireland is highly contentious. Migrants have pitched scores of tents along Dublin's famous canal, with one politician warning Ireland was increasingly seen as a soft touch while urging Taoiseach Simon Harris to be stronger is tackling the completely unacceptable situation. And James O'Connor, who represents the Fianna Fáil party in Ireland's legislature, the Dáil, also controversially called for Gardaí, the Irish police force, to be deployed to checkpoints on the border to deal with a reported increase in migrants entering from Northern Ireland. Mr. O'Connor's remarks came as the latest tented encampment in Dublin, on the banks of the Grand Canal, grew significantly in size over the weekend. More than 70 tents were pitched in lines on both banks of the canal in the area around the Mount Street Bridge yesterday, Sunday. Volunteers delivered bottles of water and food to the migrants during the day. The area is close to the International Protection Office, IPO, on Mount Street, from where more than 200 asylum seekers who had been living in tents on footpaths were moved on Wednesday. Those men were taken from the Mount Street camp to facilities at the City West Hotel in Dublin and Crooksling in County Dublin. Mr. O'Connor raised concerns that another camp had sprung up so quickly, claiming Ireland was increasingly being seen as a soft touch in relation to migration. Cork East TD told RTE Radio 1's This Week programme, "What's happening on Grand Canal Dock, and in Mount Street indeed, it's completely unacceptable to me as a government TD, and I think the government needs to be stronger in dealing with this. There's no shame in saying that, in providing appropriate accommodation, I think buying up hotels and B&Bs across the country for the purpose of providing asylum accommodation, in my view, is no longer appropriate, and we're seeing the increase in tensions, attacks on politicians' homes, protests that are getting out of control in certain parts of the country, and this to me is a huge, huge concern." Mr. O'Connor said there was a need for larger accommodation centres in places like Dublin Airport and in the border area. Tensions between London and Dublin have increased in recent days after Justice Minister Helen McEntee claimed there had been an upsurge in asylum seekers crossing the border from the UK into the Republic of Ireland after the passing of the Safety of Rwanda Act at Westminster. The Irish government has made clear it does not intend to deploy Gardaí to the border to monitor the issue, but Mr. O'Connor urged a rethink. He said, "I would be quite forthright that we do need to see a further rapid expansion of border policing around migration. This is something that I feel is not being done sufficiently, and I do feel that we need to take the bull by the horns here and address it, because we have to look after people that come here. But we do need to acknowledge that there is a tipping point where we can't do that anymore." Such a move, which would be highly controversial given the island of Ireland's history, not least recent wrangles over Brexit, during which Dublin was implacably opposed to any border checks between the Republic and the North. However, Mr. O'Connor added, "What is the alternative? That is the question. Are we going to leave it, the border, unpoliced and allow further encampments around cities in Ireland and towns in Ireland increase,